Hi everyone, this is Nikki of Nikki Hearts Cards, and today I'm here to go over some Art Impressions dies and stamps. This is their window box, and it's a 3D window that you can see these little scenes through. They have tons of different stamps with scenes. I'm going to be using the Mailbox window set, and we're going to talk about how this goes together. So this stamp set comes with the stamp for both the mailbox and the scene, and then all around the scene you'll see some sentiments for this, and it also comes with the die for the mailbox. So really nice value for your money. Make sure you've hit that subscribe and like button and notifications if you want to get notified of all the new products at ScrapbookPal. I'm going to read the sentiments around this for you because they are hard to see. The first one is home is where the heart is, and the second one is may yours be filled with warmth and love. And you can cut those off and put them on your card, or the die set comes with the sentiment hello. The first thing I'm going to do with this card is add some details to my front panel. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to cut out the square for the window. This square comes in the die set, and I lined this up even, and I want to go ahead and cut that out because I'm going to add some details to this front panel. You're also going to need to cut that square out of your card base, so just remember that. With this, I'm going to use the bricks from Lawn Fawn. I just thought I would try to make this a modern looking front door, and everybody loves white brick and black windows, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm using the Waffle Flower Media Mat, and I'm going to tape this down, and then I'm going to use some Deco Foil Transfer Duo Blanco. So this is basically white. It's a little shiny, but I kind of liked that look. I feel like this is a more modern looking house design, and so I really like this white kind of shiny look. This gel can also be used for foil and things like that, but I'm going to use it a little differently today to show you how cool of an effect you can get on a stencil. So here's the reveal of that. It's obviously going to be wet and need to dry. I let mine dry overnight to be safe, but I think if you gave it a good couple of hours, you would probably be fine. Let's look at this. It does want to bend a little bit because it's wet, but once it's dry, you can flatten that out very easily. So I'm going to put this aside to dry, and let's move to the next thing. I use my Misty to stamp images like this, and you'll see I go on and stamp the little mailbox, but I'm going to show you later in this video an easier way to do that, because with those little bitty dies, it's really hard to cut things out if you don't stamp after you've die cut. So with this, I'm going to stamp it in 2 different inks, and I'm going to show you the difference in those, because some people, it's just personal preference on which ink you like best for this kind of scene. I wanted mine to be a little bit lighter, so I'll show you what I chose. So the first one I did with Versafine ink, and the second one I did with Gina K's Amalgam ink. Both of these are good with Copics. The Versafine was a little bit lighter than the Gina K, and for this project I thought the lighter would look better, so I went with Versafine. I went on and cut my image out into a small square, and you see here this is connected. You need to cut this little square with some wire cutters to be able to do this. You don't need the sides of that. So I use this. You've got to be very precise. So you could also just use a trimmer. Since it's just a square, you could trim along the sides if you don't want to chance the die. But I did use the die on this one, and it gives it a little bit of an embossed look towards the edge. And here is the die that you use to make the window kind of the box of the window. So it's got some scored lines, you see, and you're going to fold those up. I'm going to use my bone folder. I do advise, I used a very heavyweight cardstock for this, and you really, I think, should go more of an 80-pound cardstock because it's going to move a little bit better, because this window is going to kind of slide back and forth so that the card will close flat. So use a lighter weight cardstock for that to get a little bit better movement of the card. So I'm folding all of these. Let me show you how this fits. So you've got your little, partial box. It's the back of your window, and you've got 2 flaps on the side. You're going to put your scene in the middle, and so I colored my scene before I attached it, but you see how you've got your scene in the middle, and then you'll have your plate right here. You'll want to glue these so that you can't see these through your window. And the way that you'll do that is I'm going to place my window on the outside of a panel. So technically those are going to actually be glued to the inside of a panel with the window on the outside. So along with my theme of making a more modern looking card, I decided that this little house here would be gray, just multiple colors of gray. So I did C2, C3, and then the roof I did as a dark gray, which was C8. So I'll pop all of these up and I'm going to show you how I colored the rest. But here's the C3 on the slats above it, and I may go in and add some shadows with this, but I also did a C8 on the roof. I'm going to pop up a color title so that you can see all those colors again, and then we'll move on to the fun other things. So this is a teeny tiny thing to color, but of course I want to add extra details, so I'm spending a little time coloring all the parts. I'll speed through this for you because I want you to see how to put together this window card, but let me show you what I used for all of them. So for my little driveway or path, I used E13 as the base, and I picture this as a little pebble path. So I'm going to go back in with my E23 and we're going to add some little pebbly dot details to this too. I know this is such a small thing, people may not notice it, but I just think it looks so cute to have the little dots that look like little pebbles in the pathway. So I'm going to use my YG13 as the stems on all of these cute little tulips, and I'm going to use it kind of in the middle of most of my green thing to kind of add a little bit of light highlight. So I'm going to do a little bit of this through the grass and different areas too, and then we'll go back in and add some darker colors to this. So I like to kind of remind myself where I'm going to color by going on and doing the middle of certain areas, and so it just helps me see where I'm going with this color. And I'm going to keep this lighter color here. Some of the trees and bushes I'm going to do a little bit darker. I'm using this YG17 on the bushes, and I'll get these colored in and I'm going to speed ahead. So I used the YG17 and a combo of the 13 to kind of give some highlighted areas in the grass because there's so much of the grass. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I cut out and stamped the mailbox, and that will also give us the color for the flowers. So when you have very small images that you are die cutting, I like to go ahead and die cut the image first, and then I'm going to put it back in its negative space. And so I'm going to put my magnets down. You could also use a sticky mat for this, but I'm just going to add a little adhesive with my Tombow, and I'm going to put this on the back and then stick it directly to my Misty pad in the area that it goes. Then I can line my stamp up a little bit better, and it will stay stuck down when the stamp comes up. So I just put it right there, and that helps me when I'm lining things up. So I stamped it this way, and then when you want to put it on your image, you can always take a powder tool and cover up that adhesive on the back, because I'm actually going to be gluing on the front of the mailbox. So I did it this way. So now that we have all our pieces, let's put this together. I've got my card base here, and I'm cutting out another square out of the card base, and then I need to attach this scene to the inside of what I would call the box, or what makes the shadow box. So we're going to put our scene down in the middle. Just try to make sure you've got it good and centered so that you'll see it well through your window. And then we're going to need to add glue to these flaps and glue it to the back of the card base. So right here. Can you see? And you're going to need to do this carefully because you got to make sure you can't see those little flaps through the window. So I'm going to do this with liquid adhesive and hold it in place until it's dry. So this is what it looks like in the back, and this moves with the card, so the card will shut and be flat in your envelope. So I'm making sure I've got it lined up, and then now we're going to attach the mailbox and add the front panel. A little bit of glue on the front of this mailbox, and I'm going to put it on here. I'm using liquid glue so I can move this around, because once I've got it on here, you need to kind of look through your window panel and see if it's the right height. I didn't want it to be blocked, so I do end up moving it a little bit once I've got the front panel on. So here's our stenciled front panel. I'm going to add the window pane on top of it. I think this is just easier because it's hard to press down on this card base. You're flattening everything, and I want to keep it pretty much intact until I'm ready to put it in an envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and put the window pane on, and then we're going to line up this card base. So I'm going to glue this on the front, and you can see I'm going to move my mailbox around a little bit, and once we have that done, we're going to add the front parts of this thing. So I did use some foam tape on what looks like the windowsill. I just thought that kind of gave it a cool look on the front. So doing that, I've also cut out the hello from the set that comes with the window box set, and we're going to put that below. I did add some white highlights to the hello, and I just think this makes it pop. This could be a great housewarming card. It could be a fun just hello, how are you doing card, but it's very easy to put together and makes quite a statement. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and make sure you check the description for all of the products used in the video. Have a great day. Bye.